Hey everyone, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft Legion video. Today we have some rather exciting news. So many of you will remember me talking about the future of Legion with a degree of optimism between its launch content and Blizzard's repeated acknowledgement of the mistakes that Warlords of Draenor made, and their assurance of post-launch content support. I thought the future was looking quite good. That is, if they were to keep their word, something which, if we're being honest, they have not been able to do in the past, likely due to the usual stresses of development rather than flat out lying. I think that seems like a bit of a logical leap, but promises were not met. So today we have the first bit of hard evidence of this redoubled effort, patch 7.1. In addition to the patch, they have also given us a few other tidbits of information to go off based on what they've said at Gamescom. So, patch 7.1 is returning to Karazhan. Absolutely a crowd pleaser of a choice given its standout popularity as an entry-level raid in the Burning Crusade. It's not returning as a raid though, which may leave some people a bit disappointed, but I think that given Legion's content lineup and its systems, we're getting something maybe a little bit better. The new Karazhan will be a 9-boss long 5-player dungeon. Now that's very much a throwback to older times with the likes of Ubers being a far longer experience back then, rather than the cut down and streamlined version that exists today. It's very nice to see from Blizzard, and it's addressing a bit of feedback that I've constantly heard for years while running this channel. Quite a large number of people miss having a longer and more involved dungeon experience. Do remember that back in vanilla, dungeon content was a massive part of the game, and the pre-raid gearing process was actually quite lengthy. So while we won't have that longer gearing process, we do have some gameplay that is a little bit more akin to things that happened in the past. And I think overall this is quite good. There are definitely times where I would rather just play a raid-like experience, but with a smaller and more personal group of people. So Blizzard also claimed that this content has been tested internally and is essentially good to go. And of course, timelines are a very essential part of this discussion, especially given how Blizzard have been rather sparse with patches in recent years. Patch 7.1 is set to hit the PTR around the launch of Legion, and assuming we have a flow of content similar to Mists of Pandaria, we're perhaps looking at maybe a 2-month wait for this patch after launch, maybe 3. The reason why I compare it to Mists of Pandaria is the clear success of its patch cycle in terms of player retention, especially since we are in an industry that's driven by increasing your monthly active users, or MAUs as they call them. Games like World of Warcraft are a service platform, and they will starve if they're not supported. In interviews, we have constantly seen them reference the Mists of Pandaria patch cadence, and in Gamescom, they have actually revealed that their ideal raid tier length is 4 to 5 months. Overall, they also said that their number one priority is keeping a steady flow of content for the game and not pushing out more expansions. They in fact said that they ended up sacrificing content in the attempt to reach the goal of more frequent expansions, obviously a goal that they failed, and it's certainly a nice change in language from the stance of saying it's cyclical that we had perhaps seen. Of course, this could all be a Molyneux cycle of promising your game will be great, under-delivering, and then talking about the mistakes and doing a rinse and repeat, but I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially since they are backing this up with actual content. This information is stuff that I find very interesting indeed. 4 to 5 months is shorter than most raid tiers, and I think it's something that could work out quite well. I think it's good to have a more frequent flow of raids that are perhaps a bit shorter in length as far as player experience goes. The 10 boss plus raids of today are frankly too long in my view. Clearing them to the point where you have the relevant gameplay that you actually want to progress on takes an age, and in a world where time is a major barrier, something like this could provide players with a constant flow of new and challenging content that is focused at their skill level rather than how many times they've grinded out the same 10 bosses before they finally reach the challenging boss that they actually want to fight. Now, just to clarify, the only thing they've announced is they think that 4 to 5 months is a good raid tier length. They have not said anything about how many bosses a raid tier will have, but overall I think that this 4 to 5 month cycle is something that, if done right, I do support. Rather impressively, there's actually more to patch 7.1 than just this dungeon. We are going to see some endgame content that's narrative focused being slotted into Suramar, and a new raid. Yep, a new raid. They said that it's a small raid that is designed to finish the story of Stormheim. A little bit unclear whether that is a part of the literal patch 7.1 or that's something that's shortly after launch, but we know that's content that's on the horizon. Of course, many of you who have been around the channel for a while will know that I generally think that having numerous small raids is something that's quite good. I think it will provide more meaningful casual player content than what LFR provides. Now, of course, LFR does still exist, but I'm glad that people who want a more traditional raid experience over a short amount of time might actually be served by this third additional small raid that they're going to be adding into Stormheim. One thing that is absolutely fascinating to me throughout all of this, though, is that Legion's launch and first patch actually have a body of content that rivals the entire size of Warlords of Draenor. Each spec has a semi-unique 30 to 50 minute long artifact quest. That's what, 12 to 15 hours of content. Each class has a unique campaign of single player content. Every profession has a body of quest content. We've got a full leveling experience. We've got all of the endgame narrative stuff going on in Suramar. There are more dungeons than Warlords of Draenor had. There's already a new one on the horizon. I think that as far as non-raid content goes, it's decently clear that Legion, almost out of the gate, has more stuff than Warlords of Draenor did at launch. I suppose that might depend on how much you count the garrison busy work as content, but personally, I don't really. All of this, I think, is very good news, and it's got me pretty excited for the future of the game. I've been a jaded, cynical fuck for a long time as far as World of Warcraft goes, and the efforts of the dev team. The only thing that could lift that is action. Honeyed words only work once, and that is a chance that they very much blew in times gone by. We'll have to see how this sort of vision of theirs with Legion pans together, but they've been saying good things. They have now shown early signs of very positive action in that direction, so I'm feeling pretty damn positive about the future of the game. If you'd like to hear more about this topic and what I think the primary reasons for World of Warcraft's decline are, then check out my video discussing the possibility of Legion saving World of Warcraft. Not from death, the game isn't dying, but from downsizing and vapid content and a decreasing subscriber count. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.